What's going on, all you movie lover badasses out there? Phat Samurai Guy is here with Lady Phat Blood, and we just got out of the theater of seeing Rambo, fucking Last Blood. That's what it should have been called. Should have been called Rambo, fucking Last Blood.
Fucking Last Blood.
Yes.
Maybe,
Fuck shit up, blood, Last Blood.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe in other countries, but no. That wouldn't fly here. I mean.
So. We saw the trailer. If you want to check out our trailer reaction, please do.
That we scripted.
That we scripted, because all our trailer reactions are fake. Remember that. But no, on a realistic note, check it out, because we kind of go through a little bit of the filmography leading up to the fifth film in the franchise of Rambo. That's right. First Blood, Rambo, First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, Rambo 4, and here we are. Or Rambo. And we go through that and we do the trailer reaction, and I was skeptical. I was, before we watched the trailer, I kind of mentioned that just hearing about this just sounded like a really bad idea.
I wanted to end it 4.
Yeah, 4 was the perfect way to end the franchise. But then when we watched the trailer, it looked fun.
Yeah.
The trailer looked fun, and I was just like, okay, all right, I can dig it. I can dig it. That's right. And let's go ahead and check this out. So I've been excited all week. Not super high expectations excited, because the movie, from the trailer, the movie looked low budget. So, and Sylvester Stallone, he's an icon. He's one of my favorites. He's one of my heroes from the 80s. He's 550 years old.
The leading man of the geriatric ward.
But can still kick my ass. So, excited because I'm a fan of the franchise, but still kind of had low expectations, just in case it really, really sucks. Now, I know what you're saying out there. Now, Phat Samurai Guy, you're wearing the shirt, man. We know you're a fan, man. You're gonna be biased. You're gonna give this 5 stars, okay? 5 out of 5 ninja stars. You're gonna give it. You're gonna be biased. You're gonna be like, fuck everything. So, that's one of the things that you guys appreciate on our channel, is that as much as we love certain franchises and certain movies, and as much as we praise certain media, if it sucks, or if we have issues with it, or if there's flaws, we point it out. We point it out. Even though we're biased with some things, we still point out the issues.
And I always admit when I'm biased.
Yeah.
I will be the first to tell you, look, listen.
Right.
Listen, I know.
Right.
I know, but,
right. Yeah. Now, we have not read any reviews. Some of you have sent me ratings, and some of you have sent me reviews. I appreciate that. Good looking out. But, we want to have our own opinion, because that's what we do here on the channel. And all I saw was the ratings people were giving. I didn't click on the links to read the reviews.
Yeah.
But all of the ratings so far were bad.
Yeah.
Saying this movie was trash, garbage,
yeah.
Throw it in the fucking dollar bin, garbage. This is just garbage, junk, bullshit. Why does this movie exist in this era? Just horrible reviews, okay? Or ratings. Horrible ratings.
And reviews, yeah.
Yeah.
Reviews.
Oh yeah, I guess. But we didn't click on it and read anything.
No, I mean, when you go on YouTube right now, I've seen a couple of videos that are along the same. I haven't watched the videos, but I've seen the
thumbnails
with the titles of the videos that are along the same vein.
Right.
The Rambo's getting lambasted, and certain people. Now, again, you can chalk this up to some people baiting certain sides of the fence. But some people are saying, "Oh, it's the SJWs that hate it," or they're, this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the videos.
Yeah.
I don't particularly subscribe to those who bait either side. I can't stand that shit. It's like if you're like a hardcore one-sided SJW, I don't want to hear from you. If you're a hardcore anti-SJW, I don't want to hear from you, because you're both screaming at each other and you're not listening to what the other one is having to say. I want media. I want like neutral ground.
Right.
I want both sides.
Right.
I want unbiased both sides. I don't want they just hate it because they're SJWs. No, do they have a valid point or not? And if they don't, okay, well then fuck off. Then I don't care.
Yeah.
So
I don't care about either side.
No.
Either side can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I am a fan of the franchise.
Yes.
I'm going in to have fun, get some popcorn, get a fucking beer, sit back, and watch one of the action hero icons of my childhood and teenagehood.
Yes.
Growing up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Kick ass and take names. I'm not expecting a great, amazing Oscar caliber plot. I'm not expecting this amazing Daniel Day-Lewis performance from the actors in the movie.
Right.
If you guys are going to see this movie and you're expecting these things,
yeah,
you're in the wrong franchise.
You haven't been paying attention since the 80s.
No.
Okay.
You're in the wrong genre.
No.
Get the fuck out.
Listen.
Okay?
Listen.
If you're going, hold on, I'm on a rant now.
Ooh.
If you're going into this movie expecting Schindler's List, okay? If you're expecting fucking Shakespeare in Love, all right? These Oscar caliber fucking movies, all right? Whatever.
Yeah.
If you're going into this, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
No,
all right?
This franchise had one entry that was serious.
The first one, First Blood.
And look what happened.
Yes.
That was a
fantastic
5-star film.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened and it made its impact. And then guess what happened after that? The 80s struck.
Yes.
And it was all downhill or uphill from there, depending on how you want to look at it. Rambo 2 smashed with a vengeance. Okay, and then Rambo,
muscle, sweat, blood,
the icon,
knives,
like when you see
guns.
Rambo as the icon, you see Rambo 2 and 3. You do not see First Blood. Okay,
yes.
That's not what you see. It's 2 and 3.
Right.
And I always figured the way I saw John Rambo, which was Rambo 4. I always saw it as kind of like a toned down. It was Rambo 2 and 3 without the 80s, but with the violence.
Right.
It was much more serious in tone. It was very bleak, much like the first film. The first film was a bit depressing. I don't compare it on a serious tone as much as the first one. The first film was more dealing with psychological effects of somebody dealing with the aftermath of war.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The first film was very sad in some aspects when you go back and watch
But it was a fantastic story.
That was the only entry in this series where it is actual Academy Award consideration.
Yes.
Okay. That was the only film in this franchise where it's like, that's a serious contender.
Right.
Anything after that, no.
Yeah.
And this, no.
We just had fun. We're having fun after the First Blood.
No.
Right. We're just having fun now. Got First Blood, got a serious movie. Now, 80s adrenaline and cocaine has sunk in. And now we're just fucking having fun. Now he's just, instead of a sad tale, we go from that to action hero icon, basically, within the next movie. So now, Rambo 4, I had low expectations, was blown away by it. I was not expecting it to be that good. Now, here's the thing. I without reading any reviews, okay, I'm assuming some of the exact same complaints that Rambo 4 got is the exact same complaints they're giving this movie.
Which was?
Because when Rambo 4 came out, it was panned. Everyone hated it. Everyone gave it horrible reviews. Critics just destroyed it. You know, it wasn't like this big hit in theater. And at the time, I thought really, literally, we were the only ones that loved that movie. I thought we were alone. But you guys have sent us tons and tons of messages letting us know Rambo 4 is the shit. Rambo 4 is the shit. And I was like, yeah, that makes me feel better that there's tons and tons of fans out there that loved Rambo 4. And I kind of feel that it's just this one, it's probably getting the same shit. Piece of shit, everything, garbage, acting, horrible everything.
Yeah.
Garbage, throw it away, right? Similar. Now, I will say this before we start the review of the film. After the review, if you want to hang out, we're going to quickly go into some spoilers. But I will tell you this. Remember, I'm a little biased, and this is my boy right here, right? But I will at least let you know this, that I like Rambo 4 better than this movie.
Me too.
Okay? It doesn't mean I hate The Last Blood. No. We're going to get into that right now. So, but yeah, if you want to hang out, we'll go into spoilers a little bit afterwards. Now, let's go ahead, take our bias of the franchise out a little bit, and let's bring in the critic in us.
Okay.
Well, the movie fans. movie buffs.
We're not critics so much as we just make observations.
We analyze a little.
And you know, when you watch movies for as long as we have, you start to see things.
So she's gonna go into the negatives, and I'm gonna bring in the positives of the film. And I already have that vibe already that we're gonna have a totally different rating by the end of this. Yeah. But hey, that's why you guys watch. You want our honest opinion. Okay? We're not shills at all. All right, Last Blood.
Okay.
Negatives.
So straight out of the gate, I think for my personal taste, I think Rambo works best when he's the outsider and it's not personal. Like, I think that's why I enjoyed John Rambo, which is the fourth one, so much, was because he was just trying to mind his own goddamn business, and these idiot whiteys came in and they're like, we need your help, and then they go get captured, and then he's like, ah, shit, I gotta go help these morons.
Rambo said, fuck the world.
Yeah.
In the fourth movie.
And I enjoyed that aspect, is that it ended up just becoming him against all these other people.
And he got pulled back in.
He didn't really have any personal stakes in it.
Yeah.
And so you didn't have to focus on the people that got captured. They didn't really matter. It was more about him coming to terms with, okay, I know who I am. I'm still a human being. I'm not a monster. I'm gonna go help them out. This movie, you had to focus more on why he was going after who he was going after, because she was family. And in that aspect, you had to get introduced to this character who you've never seen before. She kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Her character, they tried really hard in the short amount of time that they had to make her matter. And if you want to really stretch, she's only going to matter because she matters to John.
Right.
And that's going to make or break it for some people, because if you don't care about John, you're not going to care about her. And honestly, for what it was very basic. It was a very skeletal way of making you care about her and the situation. So, for what it was, I was fine with it. It didn't kill anything for me. But because it was so personal and you had to spend so much time with her and her subplot going over to Mexico to find her dad and this and that, there was a lot of stuff that happened over there on her end. You had to focus on her, that it was kind of like, am I really into this? I just kind of have to sit back and let it unfold because this is the movie I've been dealt.
Right.
So in that aspect, I was kind of like, okay. And in the meantime, mixed in with all of this, you're getting some very 80s-esque writing. And when I say 80s-esque, I mean you got very black and white characters. Your villains are villainy. Their dialogue is very cut and dry, made to make you hate them. There's no depth at all. These are less than one-dimensional characters in your villains. You're not going to get anything deep here. And in this kind of film, it just doesn't matter.
Right.
But some people are gonna bitch about that, because it's like, you can't always get John Wick now. Just because John Wick exists and you got these complicated worlds and characters and structures that...
World building and all that.
Just because you have that now doesn't mean you're always gonna get that. And Rambo... This franchise, with the exception of the first movie, has never been about complicated issues. You've had that that underlying theme of soldiers and prisoners of war and all that. That's as deep as Rambo has ever gotten in the sequels, is that the prisoner of war thing. That's as deep as it ever went in the sequels. And so, and that's something that I noticed, that was just that very 80s style of villainry, which is like, okay, well, I get it, but I can imagine a lot of people having massive issues with that, because it's one-dimensional. People don't want one-dimensional anything anymore. People want deep and meaningful and all that.
Right.
So
tons of deep metaphors.
Right.
And stuff
So
like
it didn't break it for me, but I noticed it. So if I noticed it, a lot of people are going to have issues with it.
Okay.
Now, what was kind of an issue was oh boy, this movie should have gone straight to video. There's about...
I'm glad it didn't. Go ahead.
There's about... The first...
Shut that up,
there's
please.
about 20 to 30 minutes of this movie. 20 to 30 minutes of this movie where I'm like looking at...
Who the fuck is calling right now? Don't you know we filming?
It's my day off.
Go ahead.
Fuck off, mate.
Yeah.
So 20 to 30 minutes of this video a video. Thanks. 20 to 30 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
It just had this look to it. And I was watching it and I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. It's voicemail.
Go Rambo on that damn phone.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching it and I'm just like, something's not right here. The shots look flat. The video, the quality of the film looks very cheap. And then the car shots started to happen, and then it was off the rails. I was laughing. It was so awful looking.
Like really bad.
Like
when the niece is driving, horrible green screen around the car. Like it's noticeable.
It was putrid, and it was like, how did this make it into the cut?
Right.
So in that aspect.
It's probably just low budget movie.
It was very cheap looking. The good news is that by the end of the film, when the effects kicked in, it was gone.
Right.
All that cheapness, it seemed like all the budget went there.
Yeah, they saved it for the finale.
Which, thank you, because you know us, we hate CGI blood.
Yeah.
And if they use CGI blood, it was to a minimum here because you get a lot of practical.
Right.
You get a lot of practical gore in this film. You get a lot of practical blood, a lot of practical effects, which, thank you, we love it.
Yes.
The acting, again, it boils down to, it's one-dimensional.
Yeah.
This is not, again.
The bad guys are bad guys.
This is not, I'll drink it up type of acting here. This is not meant to be anything other than one-dimensional stock characters here to just tell another chapter in a Rambo film. Rambo.
Yeah.
This is not supposed to be anything other than a Rambo film.
Yeah.
This is not high art.
No.
It's not. I'm sorry,
but it's not. It's not trying to be high art.
Never was, with the exception. There's one exception.
Yeah,
That's
first movie,
right? And that is it.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all you're gonna get. And then you can fuck right off with your bitching and moaning about how the quality of films just dips down.
Yeah,
it's not about it.
Yeah,
you get one, and that's it.
Yeah.
So.
Back to the negatives. Anything else?
No, that was really the only thing that broke it for me was the shady look of the film for like the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything that was one-dimensional and stock and kind of cheesy and kind of hokey, again, I chalked it up to 80s style writing, which when you look at the franchise and you look at where this film has come from, even though I felt that the fourth movie kind of abandoned some of that. Because again, the fourth film is very basic, very stock. The villains are villains. The good guys are idiots that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Very basic storytelling.
Yeah. But there was, this is, why I like 4 more than this movie, than Last Blood is, everyone's stock. But then there's that turning point in the movie where people who swear to God they would never harm a fly, they get pushed to, this is survival mode now.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are evil as fuck and they're coming to kill us. Give me that fucking gun.
Right.
And I love that about the fourth movie. So there was a little character arc there. So there was a little bit more. A little bit more.
There was. And, in this one, it boils down to just him.
Yeah.
And if we're going to get into spoilers later, we'll talk about.
We'll go into spoilers.
We'll talk about things that went down. And as far as negatives go, for me personally, the worst sin this film committed was the cheap, how cheap it was.
Yeah.
Other than that, I wasn't expecting anything.
Yeah.
I really wasn't expecting high art. The ending for me was worth this film existing.
Yeah.
So
the finale.
Yeah. So
any other negatives before I go into the positives?
If I think of it, I'll bring it up later. But
okay.
For now.
Okay. All right. Can I go?
I will mention a theory of mine later on.
Oh, we need a theory.
No. It's a theory about why people are bitching.
Okay. Yeah, we can go into spoilers.
Sure.
Or afterwards.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Ready? Can I go now?
Oh yeah.
All
Absolutely.
Right. It scratched the fucking itch. All right. The action itch has been scratched. Movie Dojo fans, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Scratch the fucking itch. Okay? So, simplistic plot, like you said. Bullshit friend from Mexico calls Rambo's niece and like, hey, I found your bullshit horrible dad. Come out here and meet him. Baits her to come out, doesn't go well. Somebody slips a little Mickey in her drink. Next thing, she's captured. Rambo goes over there, and what I love about the movie is that before, even when she was in talks with John that she wanted to go to Mexico, John immediately said, I can't control the environment out there. Mm-hmm. He immediately said, I have no control out there. So he knew he was like, not out of his league, but that's just, I guess in a way, but he's just, that's not his environment, you know what I mean? And I really like how they kind of said that a little bit, again, later in the movie, that this is not, my environment. Was it environment, or he said something else?
It was something like
the situation.
It was
I can't control the situation if you go out there.
Yeah, and he was right.
And he was right, and it was realistic when he went out there.
Yeah,
it did not go well.
No.
We're going to spoilers. We're not going to go into spoilers now, but it just some shit went down.
Yeah.
And I like that realistic part of it. You know what I mean? But it's scratched. It's a scratched. Okay. Please, if you are a fan of hardcore, badass, extremely violent action films, if that's not your thing, that's fine, to each his own. Go watch Maleficent. Okay? Whatever. Go watch that shit. Go watch Aladdin. All right? If that's fine if you like those movies.
The Lion King abomination is still in there.
Go watch that, and that's fine if that's your thing. Okay? Okay? But if you are into extremely violent, badass, balls to the wall action movie genres, okay, then go see this movie. All right. I know you said it kind of had a straight-to-video look and feel to it, right?
Look, yeah.
But I'm glad I went to theater. So if you guys are going to see this movie in theater, please, I beg you, go see it with a theater with badass fucking sound, okay? We saw it over here with the DFX Dolby Atmos sound, and it is glorious. Every little thing sounded like amazing. Like Rambo just slamming his knife on the table because somebody was bullshitting. Crack! It was like lightning. It was like thunder in the theater. The guns, the explosions, him just throwing one punch, knocking a dude out. Okay, I beg you, go see it in a badass theater. It will heighten the experience. I was completely fine with the simplistic story. Could it have been better? Sure. And there's nothing wrong with having both. Like with First Blood. You can have some action, and you can have a really good story with really good acting, all right? You can do that. There's nothing wrong with having both. But when you know what it is, when you know what kind of movie you're gonna go see, there should be no complaints, in my opinion, if you know what you're getting into, right? You're gonna go see a slasher horror movie, right?
Yeah.
With a slasher going around slashing people in a slasher horror movie, right? Are you going there expecting, again, there will be blood?
Yeah.
You're probably expecting blood,
Yeah.
but not there will be blood type of filmmaking here, okay? So, like I said, there's awesome films out there that can have both, and it is a rarity that you do have both. But with a badass, extremely violent, action, popcorn munching, beer drinking, gonna have me turn into Stone Cold Steve Austin right here. And that was the worst Stone Cold Steve Austin impression ever. But this movie's making me feel like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay? Badass. All right? Now, is this The Night Comes for Us? No. All right? It's not that kind of movie.
Yeah.
It's one of our favorite action movies, which is extremely violent and badass. It's not that type of movie. Okay? But for what was presented, and for what should have sucked donkey balls, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because why? Stallone is 856 years old. I'm just going to keep rising. All right?
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling age.
Yeah, wrestling age. Why are we here making a fifth movie, right? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
But then when you watch the movie knowing what it is, and you can sit back and enjoy it for what it is, it's a simplistic story with, once again, John Rambo's back, kicking ass, taking names, and being a fucking badass. And that third act of this movie, you guys will be pleased. You will be pleased. I did the little clap. Okay, you guys will be pleased. I was very, very happy, and by the end of that movie, the itch was scratched. So, if that's your thing, all right, don't pay a lot to go see this. Don't go like really late at night and pay big bucks.
Yeah.
You know, go to a matinee show, right? Just make sure it's a good theater. Pay a little bit more for the good sound at least. But I still, as an extremely violent action movie fan of the genre, it's fun, it's harmless, it's fun, it's badass, and I recommend you guys see it. Now, before we go into spoilers, was there anything else we need to cover about the movie? Oh, Tyler Bates' music score has returned. He came in with the fourth movie, so a lot of the themes that he made for the fourth film return in this movie, and then we get the iconic Jerry Goldsmith theme returns, which is always welcome. Anything else?
No.
Simple popcorn muncher.
Yeah.
Good time. All right. We're gonna go ahead and go to the rating. The rating now, or is there anything else you want to talk about the movie before we go into spoilers?
No, because everything else is going to be spoilers or my theory on why people are destroying the film.
Okay.
Which might have to be cut. It depends on what I say. I might go on a rant. I don't know yet.
I don't know. Should you give them the
No.
I mean, because they're going to be looking for shit.
No, I mean, it depends. Like I said, it might get cut, so we'll see.
It's Last Blood. Should it be that complicated?
Well, people are making it complicated.
Oh, for fuck's sake. All right.
That's the problem.
So if you want to hang out with us afterwards, by all means, do so. But yeah, I mean, I would have to say in terms of rating the movie, for us, we're still going to have differences here. Mm-hmm. For us, the fourth Rambo film for us is a 4 out of 5 Ninja Star rating. We enjoyed that movie a lot. 4 out of 5. So now that you kind of see where we kind of rate the movies, what do you give Last Blood? And be honest. Be honest. It's okay if you want to give it 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
3 is average for our channel.
See, okay,
3 is average.
So again, this boils down to it's complicated for me in this sense. It shouldn't be, but it is because it's a very simple. Yeah. You know, it's not supposed to be a great film. It's not trying to be a great movie.
Yeah, high art.
Within its own genre, it is exactly what it tried to be. So I can't, aside from it looking as terrible as it did in some aspects, that's the only thing I would really, really dock it for, is just how really bad it looked in some areas. And how the whole following the niece on her little journey just didn't really do it for me, because I just
wasn't as compelling.
It just wasn't really
previous installments.
Just really wasn't what I was there for, and you know, some of the things that went along with that, I was just kind of like, well, okay, fine, whatever. Yeah. It was there because it needed to be for the story and whatever. Right. Cool. And then ultimately, her story was pointless, so that was that. But that ending, which we'll get into, I'm not even kidding. The ending, the setup to the finale, and the finale itself was just so much fun for me. I could probably start the movie from that point on.
That's true, huh?
And just watch that several more times. And I think the ending of the film probably bumps it up to a 3.6 for me. Okay. Considering I gave
that's solid. I thought you were gonna go way lower.
Well, considering I really enjoyed the fourth film. Right. I really enjoyed the fourth film. Right. And this one is more of where I considered the fourth film kind of like the 80s, but taking out the cheese. This one put some of the cheese back in without the overt cheese, but shades of the cheese. So it is not, I don't find this as easy to watch as I would be able to pop in the fourth one. I could watch the fourth one from start to finish, no problem. But this one, I had a massive problem with the first half. Yeah. So in that aspect, I didn't enjoy it as much as the fourth movie. Right. But that finale, the finale sells me. Right. It just completely it's so gratifying.
Now, do you like this more than Rambo 3?
I'd have to watch Rambo 3 again.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. I've seen it once.
Okay.
I've seen the second one more than 3.
Right.
So I'd have to watch it again. I remember I didn't hate 3.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad.
I didn't hate
the weakest link, but it's not bad.
It was just there.
Yeah.
And it was another one of those where if you see a lot of the iconography from Rambo, you'll see it from that one too.
Yeah.
It's not just the second movie.
But the third act, in comparison to Rambo 3, the third act for this movie just is way better. I like the finale action sequence in Rambo 3. It's fun.
Yeah.
But this is just like, this is high art for me. Everyone go fuck themselves. Yeah, whatever. Go watch Little Women. Yeah. No. Go watch Little Women, the remake that just recently came out.
I think it's not out till next year.
Oh, no. Go watch Charlie's Angels, the new Charlie's Angels.
Go watch Underwater.
Go watch Underwater. Yeah. So, but go ahead. 3.6 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I think, just, again, it's the finale.
Yeah. So, I've already stated that I like the fourth film more than this movie, and we give it a 4 out of 5. So, I'm going to give it Last Blood. 3.8. I'm going to give it a 3.8. I'm looking at it through the lens of the extremely violent, badass, balls to the wall action genre, because that's where it excels, that's where it belongs, and that's where I love to hang out and chill, man.
Yeah,
with my beer and pizza.
Yeah, keep in mind, if you compared this to a high art film, then
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Do you know there's different genres in a film?
Of course, it's gonna be. If you were to be more like objective and you compared this to something like There Will Be Blood, obviously we would not be. If you compared the two, it would be a 5 to a 1.
Yeah.
Obviously, but that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We're not stupid.
No.
We're not like, oh, this is the greatest movie of all time because the explosions were so awesome and the blood. Oh my God, the blood. It's not like that. I know it seems like it sometimes, but we try to nail in the fact that it's based on the genre.
Yes.
And we try to give our reasons.
Yes.
And that's the reason.
Yeah.
It's usually the genre.
What did
it try
I want to be
do?
entertained.
What did the film try to do? Did it succeed? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It succeeded in entertaining us.
Now, if this film was trying to be more complicated and complex.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you might argue, oh, but it's Fat Blood. John Rambo's still having flashbacks from Vietnam. He's been that way since the first movie, asshole. He's been he's been having those issues. He's the same character.
Yeah.
Unlike John McClane from the Die Hard series, this still feels like John Rambo.
Preach it.
He still feels like the same character. He was having these issues in the fourth one. He clearly was having issues in the first movie.
Yeah.
There's little shades. I mean, he loses his shit by the end of the second movie where he's like, ah!
Yeah.
It's not as prevalent in 2 and 3 because 2 and 3 is straight up just like, oh my God, we gotta shoot shit.
Yeah.
But 4, he's having issues.
He's having nightmares.
In this one, he's having issues.
And this one, he builds those tunnels underground.
Yeah.
And because he's still dealing with shit, and he even mentions that he's taking medication.
Yeah.
He's trying to put a lid on it.
Yeah.
And then that lid comes off in that third act.
Yeah. And so he's still the same character, and it would be a betrayal to not mention the fact that he's still going through shit. You brought it up that if he's got a niece now and he's living happily on a farm, if he wasn't still dealing with this shit, that would have been a betrayal.
Yeah, it would have been too sweet.
That wouldn't have made sense.
John Rambo still feels like John Rambo in this movie.
Yes.
From beginning, First Blood, all the way to the Last Blood, he still feels like the character, unlike Bruce Willis in Die Hard. John McClane, Bruce Willis. Break it down for me.
Oh, no.
Break it down for me.
Oh, no. No.
Anyway, so there you go. There's our rating. So now we're getting ready to go into spoilers. But if you want to bounce out right now, we'd like to appreciate all you badasses for fucking watching. You guys rock. We see you guys next time. Peace out. All right, spoiler time. Decapitations.
Explosions. Body parts and jibs. We got him poking a hole in some guy's clavicle and popping out the clavicle
with his thumb.
And he's just
uses
digging
his thumb.
He's literally digging out the clavicle.
And
he's threatening to pull the whole fucking thing out. Meanwhile, he's got a knife in his fucking in his femur.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off. All right.
We had this one thing happen with this guy's head because of all these traps
he sliced up here
we
and here.
Still don't even know what
and it was like, whoa, what happened? What trap was that? But it was still awesome.
It's gonna be fun to go back and watch it on Blu-ray.
Yes.
We don't even really know what happened.
But explosions and jibs.
There's this scene. Okay, so the niece, she's good, but she's an idiot. She wants to go find her deadbeat dad who walked out on her and her mom. Her mom died of cancer. John's like, I will never let that man hurt you again. But the niece is like, I want answers now before I go to college. I want to grow up and learn the answers. I want them now. So she goes off to Mexico like an idiot.
Decapitations.
She goes off by herself because she's only like 18. She's barely graduated high school, going off to college. So like an idiot, she goes by herself, and she meets up with this idiot friend that's up to no good, and she gets caught up in all this shit, and they start training her up to be a prostitute.
Right.
And so John goes and looks for her. Excuse me. And so he finds the guys that caught her up, and he gets the shit beat out of him. And there's two brothers that run this ring of sex trafficking. And the one brother...
We got the skinny one, and we got the bigger one.
Yeah, and the one brother wants to kill John, but the other one's like, no, you fucked up. He's like, this chick here, I never would have thought twice about her. I would have trained her how to be a whore.
Right.
I would have drugged her up. I would have sold her off when I was done with her. But now, you fucked up. Now, I'm going to let you live, and I'm going to send you back, and you're going to have to live with the fact of knowing that everything's going to be a million times worse for her, and you get to live with that until you can't think anymore.
And he cuts his cheek and leaves his mark.
And so then he cuts up the niece's face too, starts drugging her up, and then she starts getting raped. It's nothing graphic. You don't see anything.
No, you don't see it. It's just implied.
It's implied. And so she's like drugged out of her mind through all these montages. And in the meantime, John got fucked up beyond recognition.
Which I appreciated. That was realistic.
It didn't go well at all.
He was surrounded by like 200 dudes.
Yeah, I mean
come on.
He gets caught. He gets found by this one lady who you find out is a journalist.
Yeah.
Her sister got caught up in the sex trafficking ring also, and so she's trying to kind of like, get the truth out there, but it's hard because you're in this really shitty part of town, in this Mexican town, where there's no real law enforcement. It's kind of like a ghetto. You see it. It's like it looks like downtown LA. It looks awful. It looks like a terrible place to live. It's just a bad place to be. But she's trying to bring them down, but it's hard because she's just a journalist. So he says, you got to help me find them. So they do. He goes in, he starts killing all these dudes that are fucking these chicks. He's trying to let the chicks out, and they're like, I can't leave. They're gonna kill me if I leave.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And that was kind of fucked up, but it was true because they had established earlier, if you try to leave, we'll kill you.
Yeah. So
he finds his niece, and on the way home, the niece dies.
Yeah.
The niece fucking dies.
I actually was not expecting that.
With the way the drive home was set up, I was almost like, are they gonna kill her? Because where is this going? Because you'd think they would have just gone home, like quick cut home.
You know what I thought was gonna happen? He was gonna get her home because he had that big speech with her in the car, and like she gave him purpose when he got back home finally to the farm, and I thought he was gonna bring her home to her mother. I'm sorry, not her mother. Grandmother.
I think it was grandmother, but I'm not sure how that works because it seemed like that was her. It was like his sister's kid, but if that was her grandmother, she didn't talk about her father. The grandmother didn't talk about the girl's father like that was her son. But it's really hard to tell the familial connection.
I thought maybe he was gonna get her to the hospital and leave her there while he goes handles his shit, and then we get that scene of him visiting her at the end of the movie, and then she comes to Uncle John. I thought that might have happened, but nope, they just killed her, man.
I thought at least
I was like, wow.
Yeah, I thought at least the whole thing, because they set up that the two brothers took his license and his ID, so they knew where he was. So I thought, because he went in and killed the clientele and took the girl, I thought he knew that they were going to come for him, so he was going to get her home, get her and the grandma, get them the fuck out of Dodge, and then they were going to come after him. But no, she dies. He gets home, the grandma leaves, she packs up and leaves. He then proceeds to build all these traps, which I'm like sitting there going, oh,
montage, baby.
Be likey. Be likey where this is going.
He's getting ready.
And so he's like building like all these traps, and keep in mind this pretty large farm that he's living on. He's got like all these tunnels underneath the entirety of the property that just wind and go everywhere.
And a lot of people forget, hold that thought, a lot of people forget that he started building traps in the first fucking movie.
Right. Right.
When the cops were chasing him,
right?
He already so he's got experience in this.
So he's got like all these kinds of booby traps consisting of just like holes in the wall where he can like shank people with sharpened sticks. He's got like
spikes that come out,
bullets in the ground, like spikes that like traps that
detonators, explosions.
Fall from underneath you, and you know crunch into the spikes and all that. Just all kinds of good shit. Then he goes back to Mexico.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Goes back to Mexico because these fools, because the brother that wanted him dead is pissed off at the brother that let him live, and he's like, you know what? Fuck you. This is your mess. Because the brother now wants to kill him. The brother that let him live now wants to kill him.
Yeah.
And the other brother's like, no, you know what? Fuck you. This is your mess.
Yeah.
We're not doing this anymore. Next time you're going to listen to what I have to say. And they're done with it. They're basically going to let him walk because you're like, fuck this. We're not doing this anymore.
Right.
So John makes all these traps, goes back to Mexico, gets in touch with the journalist, and then finds the brother that cut the mark on them, that wanted him dead, him dead in the first place, and then decapitates him.
Yeah.
Leaves his body in the bed and kills a couple of other guards so that everybody knows it's him. Pins a photo of the niece to the guy's chest so that everybody knows it's him. So
with no head.
So now they know to go after him.
I love how he's driving back home.
Yes.
He just throws the guy's head out the door, out the window.
Yes. Yes. So the throwdown, you can't really get into all of it because so much happens with the throwdown.
Yeah.
But the next 20 minutes, the end 20 minutes of the film or so is nothing but just booby traps, explosions, shotgun to the heads.
Oh,
just
beautiful.
Everything. Just so much violence and carnage and
decapitations.
Anybody who complained that this was gorier than a horror film, yes.
Yeah.
And what's your fucking point?
Yeah.
It's a Rambo film. Did you see the fourth one?
I know.
Did you fucking miss the Gatling gun at point blank range to the guy, to the body where it disintegrated?
And they show a clip of that in the end credits.
Did you miss the machete to the point?
Yeah,
to
intestines
the guts,
came out,
and the guy basically got ripped in half from the machete.
He rips a guy's throat out, Roadhouse style.
Seriously, did you miss
Sonny
all
Chiba
of that?
style? Yeah.
Did you forget that this was a pretty?
I think they forgot.
I guess.
I think they forgot.
And granted, the 80s was a very bizarre time. You could have body horror up the ass in the 80s. You could have slasher films every month. But at one point, the parents took over and got under the MPAA skin to the point where you had Jason movies being edited to shit. And you had no more gore. That's why in Freddy films, you had cockroach deaths. Okay? Yeah. You had a lot of shit going down. So the 80s had a lot of gore. Yeah. But towards the end, the gore was being sucked out. So the Rambo films, they were violent, but they weren't as graphic.
No.
As the fourth one
Until
was.
the fourth one,
The fourth one was where it was like, let's get our balls back.
Prepare yourself for your mind to be blown. But I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, in First Blood, I think Rambo technically only kills one person.
I think so.
I think the guy in the helicopter.
I think.
He threw the rock at the helicopter. I think that's the only guy he actually kills.
Yeah, because he wasn't out to kill anybody.
No, he was trying to escape.
Yeah, they went after him.
And it's still a great movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
But back to what you were saying.
The movie didn't start off in, the franchise didn't start off in, like, over-the-top violence. It just turned into over-the-top violence.
Yeah.
But then Rambo, the fourth one, turned it into gory violence. Brutal, like, actual brutal violence.
It was glorious.
You know, that's something that, you know... You can call us whatever you want for us enjoying brutal violence, but at the end of the day, I like
fantasy.
I like cinematic.
It's fantasy.
I like cinematic violence because I've seen videos and photos of real violence, and that upsets me.
Right.
There's a
it's
reason
different.
This doesn't upset me, is because this isn't real.
It's
I know the
fantasy.
difference between reality and fantasy.
Yes.
Reality upsets me.
Yes.
That's why I don't get offended by stupid shit, is because there's so much shit in reality that actually is happening and that actually matters. And that is what upsets me. Movies don't upset me.
No.
This doesn't do anything to me. I laugh when I see people get their heads blown off with a shotgun because it's like, yeah, boy, yeah. Mm-hmm. This sort of thing, it's entertaining because it's not real.
Right.
Maybe it doesn't make sense to you. Fine, fair enough, but
yeah.
That's
the only time we get offended is if the movie sucks, like Hellboy. Another R-rated movie that had violence in it doesn't mean it's a great movie.
No.
So it's not like we're blind gore hound followers.
The Predator.
Fuck the Predator.
It doesn't make it entertaining.
No. And Game of Thrones. Fuck Game of Thrones. the Game of Thrones rant will not end.
It will never end.
Fuck Game of Thrones season 8.
That show cut him to the core. Like there will forever be a scar to the core.
It's right here. Rambo. Anyway, back to Rambo.
Anyway,
the finale we were at.
Yeah, so
he's using the bow and arrow.
Yeah, he threatens to.
And
he threatens to cut out the last guy's heart.
Right.
And he does.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
it's so satisfying. It's just. It's just one of those things where it's like, yes, this is why I enjoy this shit.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what that makes me. I know who I am. I know what I am.
We like extremely.
I know I would never cheer at somebody's actual decapitation, you fucking psycho. God, the hell's wrong with you? God.
Oh.
Anyway, why are those two FedEx trucks ass to ass?
I don't know. Ass to ass. Ass to ass. Requiem of a Dream. Shout out there. Anyway, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what we're doing right now. Anyway, I'm completely sidetracked and distracted right now. The third act was great. I love how we get our, because in every movie, it's starting from, it happened in 2, it happened in 3, I can't remember if it happened in 4, but you have the scene where he's like either on the intercom or the mic or some walkie or whatever, and he talks to the villain, the piece, like, I'm your worst nightmare, something like that. And they do that again in this one, and he's talking to the villain, and I thought that was fun. And I love how it was just like, fuck you, no fuck you. It wasn't any like amazing one-liner or anything. It was literally like, fuck you, well, fuck you. I thought that was hilarious, and I love how John felt when the niece died. That guy, the main villain, took took his heart out basically, and he was going to return the favor. So at the end, I love how he says, "I could have killed you 10 times during all of this, but I wanted to let you live. I wanted you alone at the end." And he leads them to the barnyard, and the guy's looking around, and he brings out the iconic
I was waiting. I knew
arrow.
That was going to be the last shot. It had to be, because he hadn't used it yet.
Uses the bow and arrow. Bam! Pins him to the wall. Bam! Another arrow to the wall. Bam! And the leg. Boom! Another one to the leg. The guy's just stuck there impaled, just like screaming like, ah! And then Rambo slowly walks up to him, pulls out that motherfucking knife, and just says, "It's time to take your heart out." And crack! Ba 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 ba, slowly and painfully. Blah! Kano that fucking fatality shit, ripped out that fucking heart, showed it to him. I'm surprised he didn't bite it. Showed it to him, tossed that shit on the ground, and walked out, went outside,
limped up to the porch,
and sat in that rocking chair and just hung out. And I was just like, thank you, movie. So that's it. All right. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you guys check it out if it's your thing, if it's your type of genre. We see you guys again next time. Peace out.